Hello and welcome to this ET tutor video for GCSE English Language Edexcel students. This time we're looking at paper 2, section A, the reading, and question number 6. So like question number 3, this one is one that people find a little bit more challenging, but there's no need to worry with it. As long as you know what you're supposed to be doing, you should be fine. So we've got the text over here, that's down in the description box below as well, so check that out. If you haven't watched the other videos, it'll be a lot easier to do this question if you check those ones out. Alright then, so if we scroll down, we can see we come to question 6, 15 marks, roughly 15 minutes, and we have in this extract, Mustoe attempts to show two different sides of India. Evaluate how successfully this is achieved. Support your views with detailed reference to the text. Very straightforward. There'll always be a question focus, some kind of statement about the text. So something, at least you know something about the text because it tells you right here. So in this one, Mustoe is attempting to show two different sides of India. And what you need to do is point out the different bits where she does this and say that she does them well. It's not as tricky as people think. You need to be using the correct language, so it might be interestingly, Mustoe does X, Y and Z, or surprisingly, Mustoe does this, that and the other. So that kind of vocabulary is going to help you with it. And what you're focusing on creating is a critical overview of this text. So in order to do that, you need to try and cover the text as a whole. How do you know how the attempts are made to show something if you haven't read it all? Because depending on what it is here, something could change in that last paragraph and mean that your whole argument falls apart. So make sure you're covering the whole text, that critical overview, and you're thinking about sight. So you're thinking about the setting, the ideas, the themes and the events. What you don't have to do this time is comment directly on the language or the structure. You've done that throughout the paper so far. This time you're focusing on the bigger picture, the idea, the themes, and really trying to give a summary of what the text is about. So there's lots of different ways of doing this. And with this question, I think it's best to stick to what you have been doing in class. So if you're at school, if you're at college, if you're doing your GCSE all on your own, you need to stick with what you've been working with at this point in time, especially if your exams are coming up soon. But basically, we want to cover the whole thing. So I'm just going to sort of talk you through it. So in this first paragraph, you could say, in the first paragraph, Mustoe shows one side of India, and that is the extreme poverty of the starving millions. So you could give that as your quotation. You've got to support it with references to the text. So paragraph 1, she's showing us the starving millions of India, suggesting there's a massive problem and that it's a very difficult situation for the people who are living there, and you could give some details that show that. So are sleeping on the streets, utter destitution. Okay, you can go into a bit more depth here because if you've read the text through, you hopefully realise that there were sort of two levels of poverty that she saw in this first paragraph. She saw the people who had nothing, and then she saw the people who were living in shanty towns where there was some electricity and there was even some TV. So there's two sides of one side of India in there. And what does that say? It says that it's a complex issue, and maybe this two sides is a bit too simplistic. So if you were able to analyse the text in that level of detail, get down to the nitty-gritty, that would be great. Then you could go on to bring in what themes are related here. So we would be thinking about inequality, we would be thinking about extreme poverty, that sort of thing is what's coming up here. And then in the second paragraph, we learn about another side of India. And according to the writer, there is an amazingly wealthy minority, and the government are not helping their people, and there's corruption. So the other side that we're given here is the wealthy, and we're introduced to the ideas of government and corruption. So those could be themes as well. And then in our final paragraph, really straightforward, here we get to see the amazingly wealthy. So you could comment on how there's slightly different themes here of tourism and enjoyment, luxury and pleasure, really emphasising that this text shows those two different sides. You could pick out some quotations. So we've got things like performing monkeys. It's not luxury, it's luxury to a whole new level that we've got here, really emphasising how different it is. Another handy quotation might be that one, it was all very cosmopolitan. So very urban, modern. It's really different to what we've got here, people sleeping in sacking shacks and cardboard. So there's loads going on here, and she's really bringing across these points very clearly in a firm manner, and really making sure that the themes are coming through to the reader, and that they'll be questioning possibly their previous beliefs, and they will be actually more informed about the situation. Okay, I hope that's helped. Like I said, stick to how you've been doing it in school. Have a go at applying your technique to this task. This one where I've talked you through the ideas, talked you through the themes, we've talked about the events that are in here, we've talked about the different settings. So yeah, have a go at writing it out. If you have any questions, just pop them down in the comments section, and I'm sure you're going to get on great with this one. Shouldn't cause you a problem at all. If you're doing one of the other exam boards, there might still be things that you can take away from here. So in your question 2, you're focusing on content and bigger picture there. So you might be able to take something away in terms of that. Alright then, I hope that's helped you. Don't be daunted by this question. You can do it. Just really use the resources that are out there. There's loads of great YouTube channels. I post loads of things on Pinterest. I'm constantly tweeting, so there'll be more text available if you visit me at ETTutor. Thanks again. Good luck. Like and subscribe.